This is Julian, you know, shake it with flavor.
Original root boy, Mr. Flavor, part the dancer alongside Julia and D. Oyolima, Ghana, Liberia, another one.
Liberians, the war is over. Let's celebrate peace.
Mastercraft on the beat.
This is Julian, you know, shake it with flavor.
Original root boy, Mr. Flavor, part the dancer alongside Julia and D. Oyolima, Ghana, Liberia, another one.
Liberians, the war is over. Let's celebrate peace.
Mastercraft on the beat.
shake it with flavor.
Original root boy, Mr. Flavor, upon the dancer, alongside Julia and D. Oyolima, Ghana, Liberia, another one.
Liberians, the war is over. Let's celebrate peace.
Mastercraft on the beat.
People do to you, you got to cry. Has enough for one person, oh, it's a matter of time. Our time is a lesson, yeah, brother, this I have. Sweet, sweet is our liver, not for go alone, mama. Human being can eat it, oh, the deer can eat it. Go our liver. Our liver, not for go alone. Human beings can eat it, all of creatures eat.
Professor John Stoppel with that beautiful song. Coming up shortly, we play host to the president of the Press Union of Liberia, Mr. Charles B. Coffey Jr. will be our special studio guest, and today we'll be looking at the Liberian media. So be my guest in the next few minutes when we play host to our studio guest, and as we talk about the Liberian media. And Mr. Charles Coffey will join us in about a few minutes from now. So thank you so much for tuning in, and for those of you who are sharing our video, welcome to the People's Program, the Positive Show. This program is brought to you through the kind courtesy of Duke Sports online papers. That's Duke Sports. And so if you're just tuning in, I want to say to you, welcome to our broadcast. This is the Fountain of Beautiful Christian Broadcasting Network. We broadcast programs of information, entertainment, as well as education. So, as coming up shortly, we will play host to the president of the Mother Institution of Media Practitioners in Liberia, Mr. Charles Coffey, will be joining us shortly as we talk about the Liberian media. But let's take a short break, and we will be right back.
Four people. Come and read the tari on chicken feet. Come and read the tari on kinju. Yeah, give me one joint of kinju. Come and read the tari on pepper man. Come and read the tari on pound one. Yeah, give me one joint of pound one. Yeah, you are you my change, you small for you mean, you my you my pinch, you this time anything now you do, and then where that you go, and then where that you do, and then food that you wear, and then food that you eat, and then do that you get, this time anything now you do, and then where that you go, and then where that you do, and then food that you and then food that you eat, and then do that you get, in face I singing. Buy a new horse, buy a new car. But how you getting fast? But how you getting dressed? On a propose Sunday, me my propose girlfriend. Finish eating our propose dry red. Go on a propose beach, yeah. Drink our propose liquor. Come out our propose liquor. Eat our propose something. See your propose belly. Go boire propose baby. Go in les propose country. Rama les propos tessé, go to my propos friend there. And then where that you go, and then where that you do, and then go that you went, and then food that you eat, and then do that you get, anything that you do, and then where that you go, and then where that you do, and then go that you went, and then food that you eat, and then do that you get. DJs buy a new car. How you getting fast? How you getting fast? Look at It's nothing now you do. And then where you go? And then buy a new horse, buy a new car. But how you getting fast so? But how you getting dressed so? On a propose Sunday, then my propose girlfriend.
All people that were road people that can say, oh, the poor people not small people that can be out. Just poor people that are doing. Oh, you know? People, everybody know me, not small road. But your friend carry on, not small quarter, they can come for be there. We just walking from one place to another, from one place to another, more than 4 or 5 hours from one community to another. I bet you call people me that they pay me quick.
You not roll.
There is a. I said, I raise that road. TV road, big road. I mean, no, myself, no control out here. Don't get me out there. I said, I will call people for that. Me, I your phone is my head there.
If I say, I come go beginner.
Eh?
I won't go beginner.
There is a. You going by road or by car?
I get raka.
This is Julian and No Shake It with flavor. My
Original root boy, Mr. Flavor, upon the dancer, alongside Julia and D. Oyolima, Ghana, Liberia, another one.
Liberians, the war is over. Let's celebrate peace.
Mastercraft on the beat.
Mama
Is it possible?
Sure, orange very cheap. All you need to do is to dial *550# to get the orange USA and Canada PSC promo.
Like seriously? Wow, that's the best news yet.
What? Yeah, I know your Uncle Joe. I know he will ball to me.
But me, me, Bob, lazy.
Stay in touch with your family around the world. With Orange 50 cents Petty Bundle, get 5 minutes for the USA and Canada by simply dialing *50#. It's fast and easy offer, valid for 24 hours. No network does it quite like Orange.
What a nice surprise.
I just got to say hello.
I'm glad you just called to say hello, sweetie.
Me too. Hi.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Now you can keep talking to loved ones as much as you want because the package you
This is Julian No Shake It with flavor.
Original root boy, Mr. Flavor, part the dancer alongside Julia and D.
96.1 FM, and I'm the managing editor of the Hot Pepper newspaper, and he's one who always in the business of reporting security-sensitive issues, especially when it relates to this country. And he's one person who's here. Two things we'll get in here for. One, the ongoing wahara with the money matter, which he brewed and allowed on a local talk show, which Of course, he was lambasted according to him, and he will be telling us more about that as well this morning on the TBS on 96.1 FM. Then we will be able to ask him as well as to whether, because during the campaign period, he was one of the persons who was there bellowing the issue of the War Crimes Code and how presidential candidates signed on to the establishment of War Crimes Code, whether the CDC-led government is one of those governments are in waiting at that time that really signed on to the War Crimes Code, and those are issues we'll look at this morning. But we'll first start up with the issue of the morning wahala. Good morning to you, Mr. Brown. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, AB. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on this morning. All right, let's move straight there. Liberians are following via this on Facebook, the word over, and of course, it's all clear that indeed you were the one who blew the first alarm on this issue of the money. But first of all, tell us, how did this entire story about money matter? Come on.
Well, I can say hi, Kimbo. What I can honestly tell you is that I've been investigating this for about 3 months. Okay. I have spoken to the who's who. I'm not going to call names. I have spoken to everyone of relevance that has to do with this money issue. Okay, so when there was a timeline that I have given, to the government to conclude this investigation, and the government have been having very cold feet. So the best thing was to bring it to the public, because this is not a situation that you want to sweep on the rock. This is a serious situation. This situation is even more serious than the Ebola epidemic. That's how serious it is, and I see people trying to mislead people, come up with conflicting information. Well, I can tell you certainly that in November, there was 2 20-foot containers, 20-foot, 20 by 20 and 40-foot, came into the country of money. The container, 2 containers were placed on one truck, and that truck was taken to the central bank. The second containers, because they're trying to say in March there was 1 container that came. Yeah. There wasn't 1 container, there were 2 containers that came in March. 2 20-foot containers equal 1 40-foot container of money. They were placed on separate trucks.
In March?
They were in March. Okay. I mean, the most recent was in March. Okay. So and when I say something, I say it for fact. All right, but let me just digress a bit and tell you what's been transpiring with me and my personal security. Okay. All people, I don't run the newspaper. Okay, BOKC managing editor. I'm not a managing editor. I'm the owner, the publisher of the paper. I don't run it. I haven't been to Hot Pepper in 8 months. Wow. Yeah, so they run the paper on their own. So they've been calling me, that strange people been calling them, threatening them that they will kill them, they will have me assassinated for exposing this money. It will not go unpunished. One long story. So what I told them that you guys will have to work now from 9 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock. You will have to do your work and then go home. I came home finally with all my kids waiting for me at my gate, got in my house, and everybody explaining that they have been receiving threatening messages that they will kidnap them, they will kill them, and the case I for years. So when Mike Chabate sent a post like that, and he didn't send it to me, somebody copied it and sent it to me, and then you start to say, okay, what's going on? Then you start to stop, check yourself, check your security, see everything in place. So I called the police director. I want to say a very big thank you to the police director. He immediately ordered his zonal commander to my house. He came there last night, and the police director himself came. And they deployed 20 armed police last night at my house. So last night I slept with about 20 armed police. We're waiting for the would-be assassins. But again, I want to say here for the record that I have a constituency. I'm from the old armed forces of Liberia. I'm having to be one of the most senior members of the old armed forces of Liberia. And as we speak, I'm calling now, I'm directing Colonel Wallo Nangwe to have all the battalion commanders at my office today at 5.
Battalion commanders from where?
OAFL, all the battalion commanders.
Why are you calling them together?
And all the company commanders at my office. They are my constituents, and I'm going to explain this threat to my life. I'm also asking the police director and the NSA boss to also send people there so they hear the meeting and they hear what we say. Okay, but this is not going to go lying down. The thing about people killing people, you know, I'm a journalist. I have the right to expose the ills in this society. Okay, I also want to say thank you to the international.
Sweet, sweet, living is sweet, where the rich are poor.
The national community, I was called yesterday. I didn't even know by James Botti. I didn't even know that they knew about the threat to my life. And we had an interview. I think it had been played on Daybreak Africa. So I'm not taking this thing lying, okay? And I am not, listen to me, AB, I'm not leaving this country. If anybody think that they can frighten Philibert Brown into submission or threaten me into running away from Liberia, you joking. I got no citizenship or no other country. I was born here. I intend to die here. I intend to be buried here. Okay. So I'm not leaving this country.
All right, Mr. Brown, thank you so much. At least it's good you were able to tell out of this so that we can know what's happening already behind the scene. Now, let's go on and understanding about this money matter. Now, the Minister of Information.
When I pray for long fellow, he can pray for long life. As long as they living, the fellow will grow. You check it from me right today, oh, Mira will check it from you tomorrow, mama. Hey. You take it from Peter today, oh, Paul will take it from you tomorrow. Fine power is found, it can make you heavy. Looking like a crooked no, a way to capsize. Ah, Kesavalio, Kesavalia, ah, Kesavalia, mama, no for go alone. When I pray for long fellow, he always bring a long life. As long as they living, the better we grow. My people. Sweet, sweet, kiss our liver. No for go alone. After not for one person, oh, it's a matter of time, Papa. After is a lesson, yeah, brother, this ahead.
No war for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So, why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. People fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the forever. Yes, will eat it. I will eat it. I feel like you eat. But I will eat it. You see? Why the hole? Why the hole? You see why I'm going? First spec as you spec as that. You spec as how? You spec as how? You spec as how? Yeah, I can spec as how. Spell me. You see SSAV, not as how? Eh? SSAV, not as how? You spec that pudding. Stay here. Yeah. I can spec that pudding. Spell now, Papa. The pool one. No, spec that pudding. You got two spelling. Spell anyone. UNSCR or EFP. Huh? I can UNSCR. Police. But I think that UNSCR. You want to spell again? I spell a pocket. Simple, pocket. Any pocket.
Be your own part. My whole life like you, I will spoil you. Oh, okay, let me put a call here. Hello? Yeah, my man, that is magnificent. No, man. If you say that, will be devastated. Okay, but you know that corruption, the whole thing is corruption. Listen. I see I got corruption for corruption. They come here. What they call? Listen. But the children, we are moving on cool, man. Yeah. Hold on, I'll call you back, my man. Just be fast. I'm going to a meeting, as you can see. Please spell corruption for all. What?
They see what you use the general telephone. You're talking general corruption.
Sorry, my beginning. I'm living around here.
Best result based upon talent, based upon competence, based upon integrity. And that's what I do, and I stand the test. I stand the test in that regard and challenge anyone who says it. Now, there may be other motives there. We are accustomed to, in all of our societies, we're accustomed to accusations. We're accustomed to believing that once one is a leader, that leader, doesn't have integrity. But I stand by my record, and I stand by the record of my family very firmly.
In his first speech, the new Liberian president, George.We, has focused on an openness to investment and commitment to combating the deeply rooted corruption in the country.
We will assemble the government committed to fighting for the ideas that have inspired our campaign and dedicated to delivering for the Liberian people. Those chosen to serve will and must be dedicated to the ideas of grassroots, social transformation, slackers, and persons looking to cheat the Liberian people through the menace of corruption will have no place in my administration.
We has also urged Liberians in the diaspora to return home, calling for unity.
To our diaspora Liberians, we say, come home. This is a new dispensation. We need your skills, your ideas, your expertise, your talent, so that together we build our common patrimony.
George.We also thanked the outgoing president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, described as the Iron Lady of Africa, for allowing this democratic and peaceful transition, the first since 1944.
You're doing quite well, following all of the news in town and the situation, and you're not in the paper business.
No. I left writing for maybe almost 2 years now.
So what are you doing now?
Well, I don't even know. I'm relaxing myself. Relaxing, go about doing other kind of work. Okay, I travel a lot, always out of here working. Okay. So I just came from Cameroon.
Oh, okay.
From an honoring program by the Cameroonian government. Sports. You have Roger Miller there. You have Isaiah too. The who's who of Cameroon sports honor me. Very big, flowery reception.
Why were you honored?
Well, they say for my development in sports in Liberia. So I was impressed.
You think well-deserved honor?
I think it's long overdue.
Okay.
I think it's long overdue.
Just one place people know you. They don't know you in the game that that is well sung in terms of the football side, but
I don't like football.
So you do?
I don't watch football.
What do you do? So what sort of sport were you being on?
I play basketball. I'm the president of the Olympic Committee. Yeah. So, I mean, that's it.
You're carrying people for athletics and
athletics, boxing, football, basketball, all.
Don't carry that guy. You carry it all the time.
Which one?
The one you say, I know what kind of 4 things.
The guy from judo.
From judo, right? Yeah. I beg you. Next time you want to recruit people, make way far from that. But let's get on to the issue here. There's been some news in town. I've personally tried to check that information.
Okay.
A few weeks back, we were hearing about some money coming to the country. I want to start from that note.
Okay.
Relating to, first it was said it was counterfeit, being printed, it's coming to the country, it was coming on 40 feet of continuum, and then I'm told that money arrived in the country, it's not vanished in thin air, and you also been reading and walking and seeing between the corridor. Did you hear a similar thing?
Smith, what I do know, okay, and I like speaking from facts, and I like doing a lot of inquiry when I hear things. I like to speak to the who's who, especially those are connected with whatsoever allegation. There was a 40-foot container of Liberian dollars, big notes, big bills. Okay, so we're talking about billions of Liberian dollars. A 40-foot container, you know, is nothing small. Okay, it was taken from the Freeport of Monrovia.
Taken from the
taken from the Freeport. It came from the Freeport. No, not counterfeit. It came from the printer. Counterfeit. No, not counterfeit. It came from the printer in Lebanon.
But let me ask you.
It was meant for the Liberian government.
The money was meant for the Liberian government?
It was meant for the Liberian government because only the government had the right to print money. So the 40-foot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, and the only authority that can bring money into the country is central bank, because it's the central bank that gave the contract to the printers in Lebanon. Okay, so I may surmise that it was with the acquiescence of the central bank that the money came into the country, because the printer will not send money into the country without it being ordered by the central bank. And the money came to the Freeport. It was taken away from the Freeport. That's the mystery.
The money left the port?
It left the port. The 40-foot container of money left the Freeport.
Oh.
It was taken away. It vanished in thin air. And up to today, there's no one knows exactly what happened to the money.
This is a very serious revelation.
No, it's a very serious thing.
When did that happen?
Okay, I got to know 3 months ago.
3 months ago?
Yes, okay. I got to know.
Okay.
All right. And like I'll say to you, I spoke to all the relevant agencies. Okay, because I learned that President We have instituted a probe into the vanishing of this money, and the chairmanship is with the Liberian National Police, and is co-chaired by the NSA.
And let me tell you this, because I've also been hearing and following that position on this one. I've also attempted asking the Liberian police. My last check with Police Chief Patrick Sudu, the first thing, he was very surprised to know how I got the information.
Okay.
And he said to me, let's talk about this, but not on the phone. As of that date to today, the police chief have never returned. He's never answered my telephone. Well, so what is your information? Because I'll call him and said, I'm hearing some information about this money into the port, and you are heading the investigation. Are you aware of the money? And how far are you with the investigation? The police chief said to me, it is not for us to discuss on the phone, but I will call you and you come to my office. From that day to today's date, that policeman never answered. The chief, the IG, answered my telephone.
Well, the story is 100% true.
100% true.
110% true. Okay, like I say, okay, I'm the kind of person that I don't say anything that isn't true.
But where is that money then?
Okay, the money vanished in thin air, and we're talking about billions of Liberian dollars. But interestingly,
isn't that for the central bank? I also call the central bank.
It's not at the central bank. There's no record of that money being at the central bank. And this is serious. And the reason why I have not even discussed this issue, this position, but looking at my privileged position, which I can explain to you, okay, I left the newspaper writing business because it's not 10% of what I know that we put into the newspaper. All right? So this is an issue. And this is why the Liberian dollars have swelled from 40-something to 100 and 160.
That's the reason why we're having...
That's the reason why we're having all this inflation. That is the reason. Because let me tell you what's going on.
But then where's the money sitting there?
These guys are taking the money and floating it to $1. They can't keep the Liberian dollars. So they are trying to buy. They didn't work for the money. It's not the money. That's the government of Liberia money. Whosoever they are put this money on the market at any cost. They must get. And we're talking about millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of US dollars worth in Liberian dollars.
For continuance to leave the free port of Monrovia.
Yeah, they're paper trades. I think the police, my problem with the police right now, and I told you more than 3 months, right?
3 months.
Yeah, they're a bit more than 3 months. Okay, because and June, I took the team to Algeria, so that June, July, August, we're in September, right? It's a bit more than 3 months. And the police have had ample time
to go through the
to have launched this investigation. But you see, that's not just all. You see, President We sits in the mansion, and these guys are running a big sending kids around the mafia ring around the president.
So are you saying that the president is not in the know? Is that why he commissioned the investigation?
I'm not just telling you that he is not in the know. I know that he is not in the know. So if I tell you something, right, is one thing. If I tell you that I know that he doesn't know what's going on, it's completely. It's not. That is just not the only money that came. There were 2 extra plane loads, and to be very clear,
that's scary here.
Okay, plane loads. To be very clear with you,
serious allegation. Your plane load.
I will tell you the plane name. Air Morocco.
When did they come?
Okay, they brought 2 loads of money while President We was president. The president knew nothing about it.
They brought money. Royal Air Morocco brought money to this country.
In this country.
Under this administration.
Under this administration. All right, and I don't gossip. I don't lie. So when you saying it, don't say I heard it or did see. Say Philip Red Brown said it. Okay? 2 plane loads. And that's not all.
They brought the money for the government? They brought it for the central bank?
The money should be for the central bank.
But where is it?
Where is the money going?
But have you asked the central bank?
My friend, when I tell you I have spoken to everybody, all right? So it tells you that I have spoken to the central bank. I have spoken to the police. I have spoken to everybody, every other person that's involved within this investigation. Okay, and this is a very big and serious investigation. Big names will come up, big hairs will roll, and I'm challenging President We to see how serious he is. Okay, and this is my reason of just talking about it. All right, so Liberian people get to know and start putting pressure on the police and putting pressure on the president to say, look, this thing we heard it from Philip Brown. Okay, how true is it? Nobody can lie about it. Let me tell you the first thing.
Nobody can lie about it.
Nobody will lie about it, and nobody will tell you say it's not true.
But Mr. Brown, since in fact you are in the trade of information, will it also be prudent to help the government say this is the link?
Let me tell you something. In every society, in every society, you should know the worth of your members. All right? I can go to the government and say, oh, I won't help you people. No. If the government know my worth and they think I can help them, okay, it's a completely different ballgame. I'm not looking for a job. I'm not looking for anything for anybody. All right? Like I say, I sit, I travel, I do my work, I come home, I sit in my office quietly, I got no social life. I don't go anywhere. Okay, I try to mind my own business. But how many times have you invited me here?
Oh,
more than 20 times. You have made announcements, and I refuse to come on air. Okay, but you know this is something. And besides that,
but can we also take the sensitive nature of this? Maybe that's the reason why it is going the way it is. Because if the police is investigating and there are suspects that the police have invited or are talking to, could we take it as a serious security issue that is being properly handled by the authority?
Well, I think it's taking just too long.
Too long?
Too long.
It's something the FBI investigated for years.
This is not FBI. When you're talking about the FBI, you're talking about the United States. You're talking about 52 states that all of them are bigger than Liberia, more sophisticated than Liberia, more populated than Liberia. You're talking about we got one free port of Monrovia. You got one entry point that the money came through. All right? The money came through the free port of Monrovia.
All in big bills.
All in big bills of 40-foot container. There should be paperwork, paper trade. Which ship brought in that container? The ship name will be there. Which shipping line clear it? Or which shipping agency came through? The paperwork trade will be there. Who signed for it? Which truck it went on? How it left the port? Who are the security on duty? All right. So those are the things the trades that they should be following. And I show the police director. Okay, is very knowledgeable. Okay, he's smart. He knows his job. So I show banana on top of it. All right, but that's not all. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
What else is there?
The 44 container. Then we're talking about the 2 Royal Air Murak that came in this administration that brought money. The next thing is that people now, those are genuine money. What we're talking about.
Not counterfeit.
Not counterfeit. Let me make it very clear.
Genuine money.
Not counterfeit.
All in the 500 and 100
bills.
Yeah.
Big bills.
Yeah.
All right. Now, counterfeit too have started to come into the country.
And we're not talking campaign money here.
No, we're not talking campaign money.
We're talking legitimate money.
We're talking about legitimate money.
Yeah.
Okay? Then there's counterfeit coming into the country out of China. There's a whole racket that people are printing counterfeit money in China. And they are bringing that money as Dokafle Bay. Dige.
The Liberian call it.
Yeah, Dige Bay into the country. All right? That's another racket. And
are you sure that our security apparatus or our monitoring people, our banking sectors are informed about all of this?
And there is a commercial bank that has been linked
to this?
To this. All right? And that is very interesting.
Is the police also informed of this?
Of course,
The police on top of this one?
Of course, yes.
Are they investigating?
Of course, yes. I sure they have been keeping surveillance on their particular bank. It's been about 2 months. They have been keeping surveillance on it. I sure by now they will have concluded, because you can't be keeping surveillance indefinitely.
Yeah.
All right? But there is serious, very serious. All right? And I'm still waiting to get the police report on this issue. Okay?
When last you spoke to the police RG?
I'll speak to everybody. I can't tell you when last, but I speak to everybody. I share intelligence with everybody. Okay? I talk to everybody. I talk about the situation in the country. Okay? The security situation in the country. When I say with everybody, I say with everybody. So I don't have to name this person, this other person, or this person. So we sit down and we compare things, we change notes, and we talk about it. We talk about the situation in our country. Okay? And the situation is not as good as it's supposed to be. But let's leave security matter for a while. Let's talk other things.
Yeah, very, very, very serious one. But thanks for your insight. I'm also following that development with the Liberian National Police, even though the RG has refused to answer.
A seminar on economic crimes at the Training and Research Institute of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in Abuja. He promised that the federal government will continue to support and encourage.
You turn right, you turn to the Fountain of Beautiful Christian Broadcasting Network, transmitting to you from Fargo, North Dakota. And like we said earlier on, we sincerely apologize for the little delay, but I guess you've been having a wonderful time watching what you, the breaking news that have been all over the place for the past few weeks now. But today we're going to play host to the president of the Press Union of Liberia, and president of Mr. Charles B. Coffey Jr. We're going to be looking at the press in Liberia. We're going to be looking at the challenges. We're going to be looking at some issues. How can we improve the cordial working relationship between the Liberian government and that of the press union or journalists in the country? Mr. Coffey, good afternoon to you and welcome to our broadcast.
Good afternoon and thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on your platform.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Firstly, for the sake of our viewers on Twitter, on Periscope, on YouTube, and those following us on Facebook, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Mr. Charles B. Coffey Jr.?
Well, thank you. Mr. Charles B. Coffey Jr. is a Liberian born in Southeast Maryland County through the union of the late Charles B. Coffey Sr. and Father Mary Coffey. And then he started his primary education in the area, secondary, and following his completion, he moved to Monrovia for training as a broadcaster. He went some African countries, including China, and employed at the Liberia Broadcasting System in 1997. And served in various capacities from corp reporter, senior reporter, director. On the education, I went to the University of Liberia. I started off at degree in mass communication, later moved to the graduate program, a Master of Arts in International Relations, and last year also another Master in Education Administration and Supervision. Okay. And then went to China, postgraduate diploma in communication. And various areas, training, working, experience, and then before becoming president of the PUL, I served as Secretary General of the Press Union between 2010 and 2013. And then I was elected at the end of 2016 as the president of the Press Union.
So you're no stranger to the microphone, you're no stranger to the pen and the paper, you're no stranger to both the electronic and print media newsroom. So we're talking to somebody who understands the rudiments of the newsroom or the profession as a whole. Now let's look at the Press Union of Liberia. Where are we currently? What's the level of development? And let's look at some of the developmental aspect of the Press Union of Liberia. I know I've been out of the country since 2010. So I cannot give a vivid picture of where the union is right now because we want to follow doing the awards of the different media institutions in our country. But I know when I was in the country so many years back, there were a series of challenges being faced by journalists and the union as a whole. But where is the union now currently in terms of the developmental aspect of the Press Union of Liberia?
Well, thank you. When the union was established on the 30th of September 1964, the basic reason was to advocate rights for journalist protection and freedom of expression. But during the period under review, we have moved to another level, to a vibrant pro-democracy group, which is not only dealing with media matters now, but also engaged in advocating for social justice, basic human rights, in addition to freedom of expression, freedom of the press, and social justice. So it has grown to that level in terms of development.
Okay.
We have the proliferation of media institutions in the country, over 100 radio stations of between 1.5, including community radio stations. We have newspaper, dozens of newspaper, daily, weekly, and sporadic newspaper in the country as compared to the past. We also have online television and other media areas. And the number of the press has grown between 500, plus membership, full member, and a lot of journalists, training institutions, inclusive of the University of Liberia, UMU, AMU, and other learning institutions. So indeed, the media process in our country has developed. The union is progressing. As we speak, we have acceded to the Declaration of Table Mountain, which requires that African leaders should abolish Liberia law. Liberia signed that. We also have law, freedom of information law, that compels public servants to allow journalists to have access to public information. What we haven't achieved, as required by the Table Mountain Declaration, is to decriminalize free speech. But President we introduced that bill, which was named in honor of the late immediate Vice President Kamari. It was passed by the House of Representatives before the Senate. When the Senate concurs with the House and it's signed printed into handbill, there'll be total freedom as it relates to these repressive media law. So we are making progress in that direction. We have coordinators across the country, which we did not have before. Every county now, the president has a coordinator, assistant coordinator, coordinating activities of the union, and now with ADICO, its Association of Community Radio Stations. And then we have other activities we are doing across the country. And then we also developed what we call a light program. That group, they start their track attacks, against journalists, whether public or private, whatever, and we document them.
Okay.
Then we'll move from the Green and Ethics Committee. We are widening our committee now. Several regulatory measures put into so-called National Media Council. We have religious people represented there, one from the Muslim and one from Christian. Then we have the academic represented, and they represent all the universities and colleges that have communications, departments, schools. And we have women group also represented. So there are 9 members on that committee. That committee can put into complaints from the public about ethical breaches, or even journalists complaining to the public. So we're moving, illegally. So there we are now in terms of progress between 1964, 2000, 2018. There we are now. So we have made progress in that direction. But there are challenges, as you are aware. The challenges are, the appalling economic condition. The media is professionally efficient, but the earning of journalists very discouraging. It's a situation we need economic viability. That's striving with that's a difficult situation now with the Liberian media.
Let me ask you this question on this issue of libel law in the country. On so many occasions, we've been reading in the papers where journalists or media institutions have been faced with bashed with huge legal cases that has to do with libel issue. How far is the press union now with that of the Liberian government in terms of looking at this issue of libel laws in our country?
Yeah, that's where we are pushing. What will happen is that we want to decriminalize that, because as it is now, journalists can be arrested on criminal offenses, speech. So there are provisions of the penal law of Liberia 1978, which are deemed to be in contrast, with the spirit and intent of the Table Mountain Declaration. One is the 11.11 libel against criminal libel against the President of the Republic. We have 11.12, which is sedition, and then 11.14, which is criminal malevolence. So these are the 3 key provisions that have to be repealed. The libel law is very dangerous to the operations of the media. It was exercised on many journalists. The latest was Frontish Africa, and that lawsuit came from a private citizen. And so when they went to court, they charged Frontish Africa of publication, defamation of character, and it was an advertisement. that other people even carry. So the first, so they have some political honor too. And so the law and the rate, they took every staff member at the civil law court, even those who don't have connection with the administrative operation of the people, they all were branded at the court place on the bench. We have to move in along with some lawyers before they were released. So label, that law is very, it's a weird, dangerous law, especially on the criminal offense. Journalists have been victimized of that, and some of the lawsuits can be huge, 1.5 million, 2 million. Looking at
where would those institutions get 1.5 million from, or 2.5 million?
So that's meaning that's mean if you can provide that, your asset, in fact, the asset cannot even work that some media institution. So that's how dangerous some of these media laws. But to minimize some of the laws, that's why we developed that self-regulatory framework, the National Media Council, that people will complain and they poke into it. Whoever is at fault, a journalist, there are punitive measures to be instituted. Okay. You have to either retract the story, we will fine you, maybe suspension or expulsion depending on the gravity or the nature of the story. But I mean, we are making progress. Most of the complaints now can come before the National Media Council, though there are still lawsuits, but not in the huge number as we experienced between 26 to 2017.
So journalists or media institutions themselves are fact-tracking some of these stories, because you can't write a story and then somebody come and sue you for libel, or then you go back to do rebuttal. You have to do a lot of things, do some publication to correct the wrong. So a media practitioner or media executive checking the know before placing some of these stories out there.
Very well. Professionally, the media is upright. But there are some cases that people can just sue media institutions. They would deem that the story is not in their favor, maybe, except it is investigated and know the true story. But the media is working, because the label, the suit is not on a daily basis, at times. So generally, I know they've been doing their work, because not every media institution is being sued for libel. In fact, when you look at the percent of those who, were arranged before the court as a result of defamation, it's minimal as compared to the general situation of the media in the country. It's not even 10%.
Okay. Now let's look at another thing, another concern. That I want to raise. Having been a former station manager, we all know the plight of journalists in the country, and salary cannot commensurate their work. And journalists leaving to go and cover our press conferences, our press briefing. The media institutions don't have the facility to take them there. I know for some institutions now they have vehicles, but some years back, journalists will go and waiting many hours to get a taxi cab, and they spend their own money, but their salary cannot commensurate their work. From the PULN, the mother institution, are you working along with media or institution owner to see that the wages, the salary for journalists be something that they can take home, and their work, the money, the salary can commensurate their work to be able to take care of their family? Looking at what is unfolding in our country today, poverty has become a parent of revolution and crime in all different parts of Africa. Are the journalists, you being the president of the Press Union of Liberia, what's your take on this? How can this improve in helping the journalists to go home and know that Papa is coming home from work?
That's a situation that we are struggling with. So what we did, a few years ago, we developed what we call standard operation and condition of service of journalists, which is a collective bargaining. Mm-hmm. And then that collective bargaining detail remunerations of reporters of war. It's a win-win situation. Last September, we had our anniversary, Reporters adopted that. What is left is with the media owners. And so we develop a roadmap between now and May. We have to sign our collective bargaining. We have constituted a committee as required by the Constitution as president of the union. That committee will be mediating between media owners because we developed a minimum wage between 250, 250 for beginners and upward. But these media owners too will come and give their own reasons why, to provide justification whether there should be a reduction. They also talk about, normally now the advertisement is no longer yielding fruitful results, especially the traditional media.
Okay.
With consumers themselves becoming co-producer, the emergence of social media and the rest, and government using the e-marshal, executive marshal website to do some of the advertisement. More people using the executive marshal website with the issue. We raise concern with the Ministry of Information.
Is it because of no money syndrome that people are moving over to the executive mansion website to advertise?
Well, those Bible entities are doing that. I don't think that because it may be paying some percent, or there should be some reason for doing that. But modalities were being concluded. We raised concern with the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, and we are sure we want the market to be free, because by that, when you use the e-marshal website to do advertisement, you're trying to, the traditional media that rely on advertisement for survival. So most of the agencies want to use the e-marshal website, but we're working on that. Though they are getting some advertisement, but they're minimum to contain the papers and look at operational costs. So those are some of the things they raise. But we are concerned, therefore, of these economic constraints. Reporters must be able to have training to commensurate with the job they do, to allow them to cater for their family and move ahead. And for what we realize, the media owners are not against that. It's just that the economic situation. So we all are designing strategies to move forward. The last time I was in Ghana, and then the Anglophone conference, the media conference, that even the situation is across West Africa. In Ghana, media institutions are falling in traditional institutions due to limited resources. And so trying to design strategies to develop the kind of program and mechanism that media development institutions can infuse resources in the business sector of these media institutions. So in Liberia, progress is being made. We will, by the grace of God, reach that level. Even besides that of collective bargaining, it's a difficult situation. That's why we try to prevail on the state actors. Those who are investing in the country, the concession names. Like in Ghana, there is a compelling name that they do advertisements of their activities in nearly all the local village radio stations, television stations. By that, they are empowering the media. So those are some of the discussions we are having. The media is actually being affected by economic conditions. That has the potential to create censorship.
Because you talk about, Mr. Kofi, you talk about 125 radio stations in the country, and 100 alone in Montserrat and its environment. Now,
the 120 inclusive of the 15 sub-political division will have community radio stations.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is a huge number. So how? Do people really listen to these radio stations? Do people really advertise with these stations? Because some years back, the major advertisers in the country was the United Nations, Celcom, and Lone Star were the one, a few Lebanese. But then among the Lebanese, I noticed that they were advertising, the Indians and Lebanese were advertising with one particular radio station, and the government was selective in giving advertisement to media institutions. How do these institutions survive?
Well, some of the institutions are commercial. We may go beyond that because people are still seeking, the principle of government to operate radio stations. There are applications, there are concerns. Some people, complaining to the union the delay of the government to allow them to begin broadcast. But for the community radio station, I have both of these radio stations. The GSM company like Celcom sometimes do business with them with, the advertisement. And what they do, they give the energy, electricity and the rest.
Okay.
And then community radio stations supposed to be supported by the community, the county. So we submitted a bill at the legislature, community radio sustainability bill. Now these county development funds that they normally allocate in the national budget, there should be a portion to maintain the radio stations in the community because it's for the community. It helps them discuss development projects and programs, depending on the county, in English and their local vernaculars, and also they've been working well. For Monrovia, where you have some of the radio stations, some of them they rely on commercials and maybe other support. But bulk of the stations in rural Liberia. And besides, some of these radio stations, the ownership not for community, they're privately owned. They got boards. We don't know how they get their funding out of the stations. But what we are doing as the PUL is to protect our members, to protect the journalists who are doing the technical work.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that it doesn't matter the ownership, but the content is being managed by the professionals, and then they must have salaries or other benefits to keep them on the job. So that's what we are doing now. And it's a difficult task, very difficult. So the government is also contributing to the proliferation of the media institutions, helping because of the press freedom. But then there was this issue we raised that we want more radio stations, but then they start to be employed at the radio stations, and they should be professional because for every time there's a breach of ethics between press here, and people who are establishing these institutions, they should be able to have.
And that's one other question I was about to bring to you. I've seen and read in the papers where there's an ethical breach, and people run to the press union, but at one point of the time they say no, they're not part of the press union. They are political analysts, but then people called on the union. In such a situation, how do the press union deal with some of these things?
But because of the free speech and freedom of expression situation, it places the press union in this kind of predicament. Because the constitution of the press union provides that we should advocate for press union freedom of expression, and even those who are not journalists, social justice and basic human rights. So when somebody uses the platform of the media and come in conflict with the law, or there is a complaint, we always stand in their defense. But we have warned them over and over to identify with the union, because we will be developing new methods, new mechanisms, because advocacy is unique. But when people are advocating for you, you must realize that they are coming in your defense. So generally, that our constitution, once we are doing media work in Liberia, even people who come from out of the country, foreign journalists that come to submit to the union, we provide protection, we advocate for their rights. So that's the kind of predicament we found ourselves in because of the freedom of speech, free speech and the expression and the platform that they are using.
Well, folks, if you're just tuning in, if you're just joining us on Facebook, Twitter, and Periscope, YouTube as well, this is to inform you that this is a reminder, rather, that you are in tune to the People's Program, The Positive Show. And this afternoon, we are playing host to the president of the Press Union of Liberia, Mr. Charles B. Coffey Jr. We're talking about the media. We're talking about press freedom in Liberia. Now, another question I wanted to ask you, sir, is this issue of something we talk about. I take notice of the other day during the workshop. There was this conversation about women participation in the media in the 21st century.
Yes, I mean that is good. And what we did in Liberia, the press union, to give women more, to make them more relevant, we have developed an auxiliary squarely for women, which is Female General Association.
Okay.
They have been supported. They have their leadership structure. They conduct workshops from time to time to make sure and develop the potentials of women to take over leadership in newsroom and other places. So we've been working on that. The president itself has conducted workshops and been encouraging that a good number of women have excelled in the leadership structure, and they are competing with their counterparts as compared to the past. In fact, there's a newspaper, Women Voices, headed by a lady. At LBS, you have women also in positions, leadership positions. Some of them are deputies, presidential appointees. A lot of radio stations like B5, which was a lady inside in the station, and they are progressing in the process of, women were behind as a result of situation. The king late, particularly in the huge number in the media activities. So it requires some time to bring them on board. Many of them have the potential, so they are finding a way through, and we're encouraging various media institutions, newspapers, magazine, television, to work with them, which of course they've been doing. So indeed, in Liberia, it's a good situation. Women and their male counterparts are moving side by side, But the women will always talk for gender equity. Every time a woman meet, and this gender equity is not only about women, it's both and everybody. But because of the ambition that women have, because of the vision to move forward, they always say women are behind time, women. But you must also be cognizant of the fact that journalism is unique. It requires capability. It's not like to say because this person is a male, so we should put that over this lady when the lady has the capacity. So those are, it's a technical area. Area of intellectualism. It's an art that requires somebody to meet some level of.
What about in the counties? In the counties, what is it that the press union is also doing to? Because I've been told what I gathered from you during your presentation. We were told that the entire activity now of the press union of Liberia has been decentralized.
Yes, what we do, we have coordinators in the county. Every county, a coordinator is appointed, assistant coordinator.
It's capital intensive.
Yes. In the capital city, but then they move all over in the county.
Okay.
Besides our coordinator, there are different, like Grand Bazaar, they have Grand Bazaar General Association. They have similar thing in the Southeast, Limba General Association. Okay, they work with the coordinator. And if there's a concern, this is where the community radio stations are doing well. So these coordinators enforce the ethics of the union, we develop ethical standards. So when they have concern, they discuss it there, the coordinator will handle it. But in the event that the coordinator they don't have the strength or the capacity to handle it, if it requires more intervention, then they will submit the report to the press here. In fact, of late, most of our celebrations have been held out of the city of Monrovia. The press freedom day in May were in Maryland County. We had it in the Southeast. And then last year were the anniversary. Last year were in Nima. This year we're in Grand Bazaar County. We have our anniversary. The last time we're in Lofa, Bapuru, Bon. So most of our activities since I assume the presidency or the leadership of the union with my colleagues, we always want to make sure that the presidents of the union is felt, not just having programs in this country, but they are there, but to reinforce the message that, journalism does not have, limitation. It's everywhere, whether in the village or in the city, and that those who are members of the union or are journalists in this part of the country, and they are also like their colleagues in Monrovia. So that's what we'll be doing. Decentralization is getting fruitful results. Recruitment are being done in the county and submitted to the headquarters. The problem with us now is the limited resources to purchase the logistics, logistical constraints. We need to equip our sub-officers in the 15 sub-political divisions with laptops and other things. But as we speak, because some of these journalists who are coordinators, they have the equipment, so they're using their personal laptops to maintain the office, and so we need to do more. In the future, we need to have, in the county, to have even Zoom leadership, like the Bar Association, What they do, that's the same format we are following. So
that's what I said earlier on. It's kind of capital intensive because these coordinators to coordinate between radio stations, or maybe in time to come we'll soon be having newspapers in those counties. So to start coordinating between journalists and then looking at situation ethical that has to do with ethical breach. How do they go about all of these things? It's kind of capital intensive, Mr. President.
Yes, the good thing about us are these coordinators are also working. Some of them are station managers. You know, some of them are correspondents for the stations in the city, and so far. We've been working with Internews, Media Development Group, to help us with some training. Even the union don't have the resources to get this happen, so it's a voluntary thing to do. So you are right. It's a huge economic situation. That's why we've been seeking assistance from our partners. We also prevail on AJA, that motivated AJA to launch, a rally for the support of the media in Liberia. We actually want the media to be effective. We also monitor media institutions and make sure that people, as they have a degree of professionalism, they need check and balance, and they can be in Monrovia and determine whether people are performing good, except their reports. Also, we need to have to go underground. So these are some of the things we are concerned about. We are progressing in terms of expansion and the rest. What is holding on back is the economic situation, which is a national phenomenon. But by the grace of God, we shall accomplish our aims. It's a gradual process. All of us need to work together. Some of them, like the community radio stations, they need recorders, they need laptops, and technology has advanced now. And also, most of the equipment now is that digital. You have to be capital intensive. So that huge economic situation in terms of institutional capacity building of the media in our country.
Again, folks, if you just tuning in, it's a reminder that you are in tune to the People's Program, The Positive Show. So if you are from Bon County, Grand Jita, River G, Maryland, Grand Cru, Grand Bassa, Grand Cape Mount, Lofa, Nimba County, and you just name it. And if you are listening, we have the president of the Press Union of the Republic of Liberia still here. He was here. I've been here for the past few days. He came to attend the union, the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas. So he's going to be here for the next few days. Probably maybe you listening and you say, well, how can I help a community radio station in the country? This is a golden opportunity. The journalists in those counties need recorders. They need laptops. Some of us got some refurbished laptops in our homes. In our some of you have it in your basement. Some of you have it in other places where you can get in touch with us, and we can link up with you, or you can get in touch with us, and we'll link you up to the president or with the president of the Liberian Journalists Association of Media Journalists Association in the Americas. We can link you up, and then you can also make some meaningful contribution because it is capital intensive. Journalists in the rural part doing everything for us to. Some of you listen to the different radio stations and you hear those reporters, they're reporting, and sometimes the cell phone gone off, and technology has advanced. So in whatever way you think you can be of help to the Press Union of Liberia to help train, sharpen the skills of journalists in our country, because information dissemination is vital. But these guys will go through a lot of constraints to get the news to us. Now, Mr. Coffey, how do journalists in the diaspora become a part of the PUL and still maintain their membership or associate membership with the PUL? I remember some time back I engaged Jala Griffith and Kayedan Sembe. I said, look, there is a need. But then I didn't know that Aja was already here. But there is a need for the Press Union of Liberia presence to be fair in the diaspora among journalists, and some of the veterans are here. How can this, by extension of Liberian journalists in the diaspora, how can we be a part of the union?
Well, once you are a Liberian journalist, automatically you are a member. What is required is to regularize your status, so you can obtain membership. To get the membership card, we got form to fill in. We can do that electronically.
Okay.
We can send that to Aja now because we too still in Aja's form because international member or affiliate, whatever category of this.
All right.
Yeah. Once we get a database from Aja, you can send the names to us. What we do, we can maybe send the design here, and then we can do your card here. So you have advanced technology. It's $10 for the membership card. We pay you for every month $5. So we can do that. It's very important, you know.
Yeah, because the reason why this question is like, you know, sometimes our colleagues died, and you only see us coming together when there is a time of incident, somebody having some problem. But we need to keep this momentum going because I mean the PUL is the mother institution. The mother institution. Sure. So we all got to lift the mother institution on up to contribute immensely to the development of the media in our country, because sometimes most of the things we hear, journalists are the problem, the media is the problem, the media is the problem, and the politicians just shift blame on the media, not taking into consideration that the media is doing whole work, the media is reporting the news. They make the news, we don't make news. But they make the news and we report the news, but then they have problem with the media. Talking about that, let's start from the political parties, opposition political party. What's the level of cordiality now between these different political parties, whom we see only doing active election season? These political parties are active in media, in the news and the electronic and the print media. What's the level of cordiality now?
Well, what we do is to continue to remain in our terrain. The media is to make sure that political parties, the government, and other state actors are accountable to the public. So that role, we've been playing that role. During the 2017 election process, what we did was to hold discussion with political institutions, those who perceive that certain media institutions were against them. We held a seminar, held discussions that these media institutions are there to inform the public about the elections activities. We also held meetings and forums with the police, minimize police and media, that's our relationship. So indeed, over the years we've been working, but the media will always, most of the politicians, sometimes when the news is not in their favor, they consider they shift the blames on the press, and the press will continue to play its watchdog role. I agree there could be some isolated cases, there could be some prejudices they made seen from some other areas, but generally the media has been performing its task. And the media is not enemies to government or to political parties. We have told them over and over. The media serve as a conduit to convey the messages to the public. And they who are the newsmakers must also be cognizant of the fact that when they are making comment or statements or their actions should be very safe so as not to portray themselves negatively, because whatever they do, the media has a responsibility to explain that to the public. Though media has social responsibility. So generally, the press union is not in conflict with the political parties or the government, but we continue to play our role. There's high level of coordination or cooperation. Whenever our people are deemed to have breached ethical issues, those political parties who concern normally complain to the press union or to the National Media Council. But you will know that not every politician will be satisfied with the media. Sometimes when the news is in their favor, they will say the media is working, but when it goes the other way, you see people shifting blame, the media is the problem, the media is this, the media is that. Generally, the media has been playing its role in the direction that it is serving as the voice of the voiceless, and they continue to serve as the guardians of the public and protector.
Another issue I wanted to ask you, and this text just coming in, is the issue of the awards to the awards program to journalists. Some media institution, few weeks, a month or two or so, I was listening to the radio station. I think it was OKFM, and there was a series of concern raised by journalists that people who won these awards, it was just based upon selection. Is there a vetting process that people have to go through a particular committee that, like I know it was done some years back, that journalists, media institutions, they go through a vetting process? There's this committee set up to go through the different awards.
Very well. That's what we did. People speak out of fear, ignorance sometimes, but that methodology is being maintained. We constitute a committee. People who are members of the committee are not practicing journalists. These are people who are very respected. And we constitute that committee to vet the media institution that will set up criteria. To become a journalist of the year, you have to meet certain criteria. To win the radio station of the year, you must meet certain criteria. And those criteria, individual reporters, legislative reporters, environmental, the criteria are released to the public and to the media institutions and individual journalists to give them the criteria 2-3 months ahead for them to apply. You know, those who are supposed to apply. It will tell you you have to meet this before you apply. So when they apply, the vetting committee will go through the process and make sure that these people meet the criteria who will become or win these different awards. They say in the entrance, that voice, like radio, if you want to become a newscaster of the year, people who apply, they have former newscasters. The criteria we said that people will go and listen to the newscast. Besides that, will be monitoring you from time to time. You want to be radio station of the year, the criteria I said will monitor you, talk about balance, not being biased, prejudices, and giving equal, space to people, especially during election time. So it was a vetting process and criteria set for people to conform with. So it was done like selection. We're being assisted by international partners or using through Internews, media development institution, and so they also have to provide technical expertise, and that's what we do. But in Liberia, for every time, from time to time, you know, anytime the results are announced, some people will always with issues, and sometimes these people don't even apply. Some of the people normally raise the issues, they don't apply. But from time to time, we develop new strategy and improve on it. What we intend doing now this year is to allow the public participation. We will collaborate with some of the GSM companies, for them to start, telling us, trying to screen most of the media institutions, the newspaper, because at the union we have radio, we have our monitors. On a daily basis, the papers are brought there. People are reading the local dailies. People are checking. So these are some of the things. And then we had a vetting committee. It was not a selection.
Talking about media development in Liberia, improving the capacity building of journalists in the country, what is it that the press union is doing to attract more foreign and international media institutions to help strengthen journalists in the country or improve their skills in the country?
Well, we've been doing that. We cannot cover everyone. So this is all we need assistance. We have Internews that have been helping us to do some training, workshops. We have something called editor forum. So Internews don't have the kind of resources needed to address the training needs and economic needs of every media institution. They have limitations. So we'll be doing some training, and we have this Liberian Media Council. These partners sometimes channel the resources to do some training and other programs. But with a kind of huge number of media, institutions, especially across the country, it requires additional or adequate resources. So on the minimum level, people do training, even individual media institutions do some refresher workshops, but these are not enough. That's why we do that, and we'll be doing proposals. We've been writing a lot of proposals for training in order to we need now to go beyond just doing training in the country. Training, especially the fundamentals of journalism or equipment or whatever. We need to move away from that and bring other people out of the country to have the exposure. Like we in Minnesota during the convention, we had a tour, program. We visited the Star Tribune newspaper in St. Paul. We also visited the Minnesota Public Radio. We saw the kind of infrastructure, the way reporters and editors, different areas were free, how the news typical looked, the equipment they use, and they have their tea, their coffee, bread throughout. These things are not happening in most of the newsroom.
If you put those one in the newsroom, I can tell you free in Morocco or somewhere in the Europa. The bread and the tea will be done before 12 midday or before late afternoon hours. But those are the motivational things that you come across in the newsroom to keep people going, because the equipment, the dynamics has changed. It's no longer tape. I was talking to Frank Siwola, and I was telling him that I did something for ELBC as a token. As a gift to ELBC, because my mother worked at ELBC for 14 years. So when Ambrose Mann was at ELBC, my company had an opportunity to secure a contract with the Liberia Broadcasting System to build the online radio. And when the government was on this no money syndrome for a while, I said that was a gift. If we go one more step, the announcers will only come with the bags in their hand or their pen and paper and just come to sit down to just produce a program and go. And Frank said, you're joking. I said, no, the dynamics had changed. Radio is now moving to a whole new level where you only just going to come and sit before the microphone with just your pen and paper and produce your program and you go on. The radio going to run, the equipment is built in a way that you can run it. And so, I'm glad that you're here. I know next year the convention is coming back to Minnesota. Maybe I will have the opportunity to see if I can get some of the guys to just sit with me and I just show them a couple of software. I show them the basics, and they can pick up from there and play around a little bit. They're gonna get used to it because technology is just changing the entire world.
Sure, and that's the constraint we have. So, these things are needed in Liberia. We also visited, a television station here, the central television for the community here, and where the public come and do the production. At the radio station were there when people wanted to leave to go for assignment. They just leave. Vehicles are available. While they were away, the reports were already on their computers. Television, people sign for the camera. Some of the cameras that cost 30,000, 25,000. They kind of equipment, vehicles available. You sign and go and come. So those are the things we are talking about. Even though it will take longer time, but not where a reporter will be striving to find vehicles from one end to another. Even the recorder is faulty. Striving to get the news. Though we're now using mobile phone to do other things. But you need equipment, you need motivation. Besides the salary, when the newsroom are well equipped, have their coffee break or tea, whatever. And
you have a vehicle taking you taking you to and fro, and not getting on the pen, and when you fall off the pen, then that is another thing. But you're going to cover the story. You're taking a company, the media institution vehicle. And where you are currently in Minnesota, when I used to be in Minnesota, there were a couple of trainings from community radio and television stations in Minnesota, and you get a certificate for attending these programs. You just go there every day, make sure you're on time, go through the training, whether it's television production, television presentation, a lot of different things. That's the thing I love about Minnesota. They will always give those opportunity to people who want to learn.
That's what we want, to move beyond unit training in Liberia and bring them to have the exposure to other places, not the United States alone. So you take somebody, from example, from Bond County, and bring them to Minnesota to have a 1 week exposure orientation. When they get back to Liberia, they will help and be a training of their police. look at the newspaper, they start a Tribune. When we enter the daily publication, they start with 150,000. When you enter the production area, it's like about a whole community.
Yep.
You know, the machines working, and that is not happening to our place. The printing press, call, and the rest one two media institutions getting into how much are they?
And I remember when Chronicle was combined with that of Sarafina Ventures and Communications Incorporated, you print maybe 1,000 copies. The returns will be more than the copies that were bought or sold. So we have more return copies coming per year. All the institutions subscribe. So they just in the morning, 6 o'clock, and before 7. The newspapers are all to those institutions and organization offices of different places. You have the newspaper right there, and you can go through the papers. And I mean, it's good that you have seen it, and other journalists have come to this country and have seen it. But there is another thing, and that I wanted to ask you. You know, when I was home, I was blessed to go to the Liberian Institute of Journalism. And when it was going down, we thought the PUL was going to pick up suit and do it for journalists, because you've been to the University of Liberia. You have to go through a lot of different prerequisite courses before you can enter the mass communication department itself to start doing the basics in news writing, news editing. You spend almost maybe about 2.5 semesters before getting to that end.
Yeah, to the main place there.
So what is it that the PUL is doing, you know, in terms of there are young journalists coming up, they need some guidance along the line, they need the basics, and we were blessed for, you know, Blambo Robertson and Patrick Manjo, the leg of all these veterans to pass through them, you know, Francis Wola, Philip Wiesen, and the late Elliot and others. So many people are now looking up to the PUL to say, well, you know, there are kids in the different high schools who want to pursue this career, to take the microphone down from Mr. Coffin and Gerald Cummings and others, and you got to pass this torch. But in order to pass this torch, you must be able to prepare people. And PUL is the mother institution. I don't care what people may think or perceive about the Press Union of Liberia. This is the mother institution.
Yes, so that's why we have the Liberia Media Center, the LMC. It's the training arm of the Press Union.
Okay.
Conducting series of training. Because I'm aware you need middle-level journalism training institution right beyond that of the university. So they have 2 of them in the capital there.
Okay.
But LMC is helping, and we're trying to encourage high school journalism. When I was at LDS, they had a program, High School Special.
Yeah.
And then they normally train the high school students, some of them who are high school journalists, come at LDS, they train, then they have programs for them. Mostly double and the rest were helping in that process. But there's another journalism, the middle-level training institution, International School of Journalism, and some of these lecturers are veteran, retired journalists of LDS. And then the LMC also, there are other middle-level training institutions.
Okay.
Then beyond that, PUL is a normally conduct workshop, but that is not enough. So it's true. These are some of the reasons that we need support. That we can recommend students to these middle-level training institutions. The union could help to provide for the semester, you know, have them with 3 years or even 6 months. You know, especially in service training, we'll be engaged in that. And I think this year, our plan for training is to identify to do assessment, you know, the training needs. Different categories. We got beginners, so we can place in that category. We got others for editors, equipment, even camera, video, camera. All of these training needs. We have identified them, trying to do some proposals to sharpen their skills. So indeed, it's very important because with this proliferations of media institutions in that country, the recruitment exercise by some media owners is not unique. The team, some of them turn not to incorporate more professionals. They take people very green because of the low salary and then some of these unprofessional issues being raised, emanate from the newcomers and the rest. So we're trying to weed out unprofessional journalists in the system, not to remove those who are already there, but to train them and make them professional. So from institution to institution, we wrote some institution that we noticed the performance of some of the media practitioners were the kind of situation very, very much discouraging, so that the employer agreed, and we gave him some of our processes involved to send some people to train them. So these are some of the things we've been doing, in-house training first, and then we'll move on to some of the issues. But we trust you to know that most of the journalists now are various universities, doing communication. The AMEU has communication department, UMU and UL, and they have another school near the press office, long time school doing communication also, So these are some of the areas, but we putting our feet down, even in most of the counties where they have community colleges, like LOFA, other places they're doing some training.
Okay. So it seems like Liberia is moving, but let's go to one final issue. The issue of the social media networking taking a new stage, in terms of Liberia. Where are we? Are we getting there, or are we still behind? Because all in Guinea, in Kenya, La Côte d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, they got one. I think they got the broadcasting. The Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation is making a lot of headway. I see they're using a lot of sophisticated software now, moving at a high speed. Where are we in terms of social media in Liberia?
Well, Liberia is no exception from the other countries. Social media is moving very fast. Most of the media institutions even have their online group. The citizens themselves, citizen journalism is like dominating. So indeed, social media is on course. There's a fabulous system in our country. We see they're still, developing the process, running the line, but the social media is on course. Liberia is also competing with the other countries.
Are they becoming your competitors now? Because citizen journalism has become a new phenomenon in the country. We can see some pictorial that comes from Facebook, and that's something for public consumption, and we just see it on the internet.
Surely, it's a serious competitor to the traditional media. That's why I said the people who were the consumer now, some of them are becoming co-producers in some of the areas. So that's why the competition is about. But still the traditional media has its relevance, because most of the actions on the social media may not be authenticated, it may not be factual. Not everything on social media is true. So the gatekeeping at the traditional level is still strong. And the most important thing, some of these institutions have their online, we still have their online, even radio station have their website and the other things. So indeed, they are utilizing the social media. Social media is moving, it's making progress. It's affecting the operation of the traditional media. That's what some of the advertisements we talk about. People post something on social media, death announcement, all of these things I used to even have. Some of these things can be on social media.
Yeah, I see now PSA and all appearing on social media, and it's like, okay, are these people not advertising with the radio stations? And because I don't know if they understand that the radio station will also help in terms of information dissemination. The radio stations will help them to spread the news far.
That's what they need to do, because bulk of the population, they don't have access to the social media. In our country, most of the people are in rural Liberia. Not everybody in the villages and towns. So even if they have access to mobile phone, to connect to the social media, they will not be playing with the phone to do their work our people no longer like to listen to radio. You know, they have the radio on the farm, the radio is playing, they're doing their work. They won't have the time to go through the phone or whatever social media area. They like to watch the television and monitor, listen to the radio. So the traditional media, even global, is still relevant. People need to do that. But I mean, in the capital, even some government programs, you see that on social media. They go to retreat. You see that on social media before even the traditional media. So that's the extent to which the social media is being utilized in our country.
One final issue before we take leave of you, Mr. Kofi. One final issue. There's this news, and you're not strange to it because you're just from Liberia. The issue of the alleged missing money in our country, and I listened to the president during the Thanksgiving service. His media petitioner or institutions that reported that $9 billion was missing, $16 billion went missing, $1 billion went missing. They too will be part of the investigation.
Well, I was in the country when the president made a pronouncement that they wanted the media institution. But earlier on, when they constituted a committee to investigate, the media was not part of the committee. But when the president returned from the United Nations, General Assembly, he made a comment. But the president's position is that we needed presidential clarity. Wanted clarifications from the government as to the role to be played by the journalists, and that if there was a need for any journalists to help in the process as they were determining, there was a need to officially communicate with the press union to know which methodology they're going to employ, because the Freedom of Information Law already gives the media the authority to seek information and have access to public information. The role of the media is to engage in investigative journalism, which is a different form of investigation, and bring that to the public domain. So to arrange journalists before the panel, we don't know which role they want the journalists, but that's what we wanted some clarification.
Have you gotten that clarification yet? Because the president body language and tone and people cheering in the building seems like there's a need for more clarification.
Yeah, that's what we said. We haven't prior to my departure, I did not. I've been in communication with the group I left on about the secretary and the vice president, assistant secretary.
Okay.
We've been exchanging some email. They haven't given me some detail what is provided clarification, but they always think I advise those concerned to stay away until we can get some detailed clarification and the official communication as to the methodology that we employ in the process. So there we are, and we think, and with the kind of developing stories from central bank that no money is missing, people say money, so it's the kind of confusion. And so are they going to investigate if the central bank says no money is missing or what money is missing, So it's in a kind of confused stage.
Yeah, and I saw the information minister taking some shot on Saturday night.
Confused stage. So that's why the president is very careful, and it's very careful. That's how we're handling the situation. We, the last time, called for people to observe the rule of law, even those who were protesting in the government. The fundamental rights of people should be respected. People who raise issues about the utilization of the resources of our country have the right to peaceful assembly. Even though I was in the country, police were protecting them. And the media too is just a platform through which these people are expressing their concern. So to begin to involve the media in the form and manner, it's not in that kind of way that will create the kind of harmonious working relation. It would be like the media is threatening. So we are very careful, and we need to ensure peace and stability in our country. People should not be held liable for free speech. They too responsible for what they put out. And I think the media should be allowed to continue to play its watchdog role and give the kind of platform to the public so that we can reach the logical conclusion the entire media, money sucker, because there's a conflicting information. Money is not missing, money is missing, how much is missing, investigation is being conducted. The only group that can bring that to the public is the media. So the way the messages are being portrayed, that's how the media are being presented it to the public.
Well, Mr. Comfort, it was nice. Talking to you this afternoon. I hope we can do something like this again before you take leave and before you return to Liberia. But it was nice having you on the radio and on our television as well online. I want to say thank you so much for taking up your time to be a part of our program.
Thank you.
And the final message to Liberians in the diaspora?
Yeah, it's to just commend them, especially the media, the AJA group, and every general, particularly you, because it's through the platform that, the media platform, millions of people will know what is happening, what we are doing, and to also encourage our Liberians here to continue to believe, even if they are Liberian American, but the native land should also be part of them. We need all of us to put together to help Liberia. If Liberia is moving forward, it's peaceful and developed, it will be burdening, because I know the economic burden, once we are affected home, people will suffer the consequences, relatives will be requested for assistance, which of course people are doing. So that continue to help, continue to build our country and speak out against ills in society to make sure that we have social justice in the basic human rights continue to be respected and freedom of expression in our country.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
You turn right, you turn to the this is Ramah Christian Radio, transmitting to you via Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. And if you're just joining us, I want to say good afternoon to you. And thank you so much for your listening role. And those who share the video, thank you so much for being a part. The invitation is yours to join us later on this evening at 7 p.m. To join us on the Prayer Garden Prayer Line. So be a part of our broadcast later on this evening. Until then, this has been a Jerome Cummins presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you for your listening role.
I got me have my late pro party. Make up in them 4 people. Yeah. Come and read the tarot on chicken feet. Come and read the tarot on Kinju. Yeah, give me one job Kinju. Come and read the tarot on Pepper Man. Come and read the tarot on Pound One. Yeah, give me one job Pound One. Yeah, you want change your small food, you mean your mind, you want clean shit, you go. This time, anything that you do, tapopo. And then where that you go, tapopo. And then where that you do, tapopo. And then food that you wear, tapopo. And then food that you do, tapopo. And then you that you get, tapopo. This time, anything that you do, tapopo. And then where that you go, tapopo. And then where that you do, tapopo. And then food that you and then food that you do, tapopo. And then you that you get, tapopo. Yeah, face I thinking. Buy a new house, buy a new car. But how you getting fast? But how you getting dressed? On a propose Sunday, me my propose girlfriend. Finish eating our propose dry red. Go on a propose beach, yeah. Drink our propose liquor. Come out our propose liquor. Eat our propose something. See your propose belly. Go boy propose baby. Go in les propose country. Rap my lip propose test it. Go to my propose friend then. And then where that you go, and then where that you do, and then go that you went, and then food that you do, and then you that you do, and then thing that you do, and then where that you go, and then where that you do, and then go that you went, and then food that you do, and then you that you get. DJ find a buy a new car. How you getting faster? How you getting faster? Look at Buy a new horse, buy a new car. But how you getting fast so? But how you getting dressed so? On a propose Sunday, me my propose girlfriend.
All people that were road people that can say, oh, the call people not small people that can be out. Just call people that are doing. Oh, you know? Bill, everybody know me, not small road. But your friend carry on, not small calling, they can call for Billy. We just walking from one place to another, from one place to another, more than 4 or 5 hours from one community to another. I bet you call people me that they beat me quick.
You know, road.
There is a. I said, road is a road. TV road, a big road. I mean, no, myself, no control. Don't give me a chance. I say, I road. Call people that they beat me. I your phone is my head there.
If I say, I come go beginner.
Eh?
I won't go beginner.
There is a. You going by road or by car?
I get rock car.
This is Julian and No Shake It with flavor.
Original root boy, Mr. Flavor, upon the dancer, alongside Julia and D. Oyolima, Ghana, Liberia, another one.
Liberians, the war is over. Let's celebrate peace.
Mastercraft on the beat.
Degree from Liberia, Matthews in America, shaping his degree, degree from Africa, degree from Liberia. He runs away from stop sign, who not enter two. He called the muffin bread, he argued it forever. Matthew needs no job. Nothing he can do. He don't know color ID, he don't know credit card. Some other things that he does, you will find it strange. What type of man is bad to, you will get to know him. Hey. So what? Hey. Hear this, hear this. Hey. Everybody hear this. Hey. What's got a degree? He need a job, he need some money, then he like to argue. But got a degree, he need a job, he need some money, then he likes to argue. Matthews in America, shaping his degree, degree from Africa, degree from Liberia. Matthews in America, shaping his degree, degree from Africa.
Thank you.
Wow, we've been with you for so long.
Thank you.
Zay, the children up there with you? Brother Batu is here.
Wow, you're looking nice though.
Thank you.
All our money we've been sending down there, I live with all here.
Thank you.
What is
here?
Welcome back to.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you.
Welcome, Mr.
Thank you.
Batu, now on behalf of myself and my family and my friends that have gathered here to receive you and to welcome you into the United States of America, I want to formally show you that this is our house, this is the home where we live, and here where you will be. Your nieces and nephew, at time when my wife and I go to work, they will be taking you out and show you the neighborhood. But anything they tell you in this country, you have to listen and you have to take a listen.
Your way. In Liberia, when we want to eat, we can give glory to the person that gave us the food, that God. Myself, I want to eat, but I want us to pray first. Thank you.
God come first.
Thank you. God come first.
knows.
Thank you. That's right. Okay, let's pray. Our Father and our God, we say thank you for this day you give us today. Thank you for your glory. Thank you for your care. Thank you for everything you have continued to do for us. Father, we say thank you for bringing me 5,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean to bring me here. Months and days, Father. And we say thank you for bringing us for them to sit with us on the same table. Father, as we are about to eat this food, we ask you to bless this food so that it can nourish our body, so that we can glorify your name. Thank you, Father. This is our prayer with many other blessings. We ask you in Jesus' precious name.
That was sweet.
Battle in America, battle come from Africa, battle here, battle there, everywhere you go. Battle left to
Wait, everybody.
No. Stop again.
Yeah.
We want to working on time. We had to get out of here.
I'm sorry.
I gotta eat.
Thank you.
Honey, this thing we had to let the men know how the system works.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Every little thing.
There's a parable that says you can't show where your ancestor come from, you can't show where your left hand.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we start we gotta
listen to you.
Yeah, I know. No,
my wife gotta go to work.
From where we come from, when we're eating, we're talking, it can't go together.
You can't get
so
it.
that I'm sorry. Now, a little bit more. I want to tell you again is that if you're going to sacrifice to the mountain, and you're going to get sacrifice to the mountain, and you see Gina coming from there, all you need to do is get that sacrifice to the Gina, because the Gina control the mountain. Me, I just came from Liberia. All of y'all been telling me, oh, I will send you $50, I will send you $10. But none of you now said I want to say I hear now, y'all can give it. Now all I want to talk. Y'all can eat. Yeah, y'all can eat now.
He need a job, he need some money, then he like to argue. Bato got a degree, he need a job, he need some money, then he likes to argue.
Bato's in America, I shaping his degree, degree from Africa. Degree.
See here.
Oh, the stop sign? What happened?
Stop, all stop.
Come on, Uncle. This is for cars. It's not for you.
They'll say car stop. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, we can go. Come on, Uncle. Gotta go. Yeah, just for cars.
He argued it forever. Batu needs a job, but not just any job. Batu needs some money. He needs one more too.
No!
All the things that he
Jatu,
Yes, Uncle Batu.
please come. Your mom has not done cooking. I want you to get me something to drink.
What do you want? Soda or water?
Soda?
Yes. You want soda or you want water?
Your pa here?
Yes, it's upstairs.
Call your pa to come. Soda? What's going on?
I don't know.
What's going on? When the alligator want to claim the place that it will claim.
Oh my God, brother, no, get to the point. You like parable.
Yeah, but listen to me.
Yes.
I will say that over. I came here to you.
Yes.
But I didn't leave my idea behind. I'm telling you, the place that the alligator can claim that the player will put a hand.
Okay.
Your daughter, the money your wife had not get through cooking.
Okay.
I call your daughter and ask her, I want something to drink. You know the question she asked me?
No.
You want soda?
What?
She asked me whether you want soda. And we all know what soda can do. What are you laughing for?
That's it?
To get somebody soda to drink, I said, I want something to drink. Then she asked me whether soda. Oh, you laughing at me too?
Brother,
wait.
Brother, wait. Let me tell you something. My brother, soda in this country is what we call Fanta or Coca-Cola or Supermall. That's what we call soda here. I told you that in this country, when they tell you things, you should take it literally. You should also be able to understand the society you have come to live in. The pronunciation here is quite different from that of the one in Liberia.
Okay. So when I see Fanta, I say Fanta soda. Or I see Coca-Cola, I say Coca-Cola soda. Is that
why? I understand. I know they say you went to the University of Liberia.
I did.
I understand that.
I did.
Okay, you understand your way of understanding things. The society you have come to live, it had a different way of looking at things and pronunciation wise. So soda, I repeat, is Coca-Cola, Fanta, or any other drinks of non-alcoholic.
But let me tell you, tell your children, I don't want them to take me the way they
Okay, Brother Bato, next time, if you want anything, go in the fridge and get it for yourself. Because they might give you a name.
But what and stop right there. So what all the small, what they here for? In our country, you want to do something, you send somebody. You want to do the other one, you send somebody. So you want to tell me if I want to go to the bathroom, if I want to go get something, if I want to go do something, I'm gonna go there myself,
brother.
Yeah.
This is the system in America. You never see me. I eat in my own. I take my own plate. I take it in the sink and wash it for myself. I do that not because the children are here or they can't do it. They can do it, but that's the system. My brother. Welcome to America again.
Yeah, we can't too far for true.
Brother Bato, let's go now. It's getting late. Let's go. Wait a minute. Come on, let me see something. Wait a minute. If this is what you're going to wear?
Why? In that iron, in that press?
No, I mean it's good, but I mean this is occasional clothes.
Right.
It's different from the way we dress back home. Now this one you put on now, it's good, but this is a kind of occasional clothes over here. This time of the year we don't dress like this.
Well, what wrong with this? What wrong with this clothes?
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong. But what I'm saying is, there is certain way we dress in this country. You know, the dressing is by a certain period. This is we talk about winter. You don't dress like this for weeks.
Let me let you know something. Our people say the place your people tie their waist, a place you tie your waist.
Brother, you like this parable thing?
No, listen.
And we look, you see,
No,
you came to live with us.
You respect
and we
me.
try to put you on your guard for the system. So we would not always be around you. We will be out and you will be by yourself. Sooner or later, you will get into the workforce and you'll be on your own. You will be driving and you will go out to an occasion where
But I want you, when you finish talking, I want you to listen to me too.
Yeah, but don't bring parable based.
No. When the parable it will come, But I tell you, here, look, you see, you hear about Brosotoe. You hear about Omen Miami.
You want to dress like the way they dress over here in America?
Yes, that what I'm telling you.
But
if it's not good, you let me know. If the people here, they don't take the way our people behave, then it's different. Then it means our culture is changed for them one.
Okay, I will.
Tell me the thing.
Okay.
I want bread. I want that bread. That one. But that bread I want. Let me tell you. Because you just see me the way I look, like I'm from Africa, you know that. But this America, anything can happen here. I tell you I want bread, then you asking me I want muffin. You think I'm stupid? Muffin that I know. If I don't know nothing, I'm gonna know that one there. Muffin that pain medication. Why you must tell me say I want bread and you asking me for muffin? I want that the one you can do in the place here. We not hear long time about the place. Oh, long time before we came here, we hear about the place. I asking you for bread, then you asking me for muffin.
Sir,
You think I'm stupid?
Sir, I don't know why your problem this morning, but
Oh, I don't have problem. You got problem. Oh yeah, if you want me to go, I will go. But I want bread, then you can't give me muffin. That's the one you can do in the place here. Oh, who you calling? Oh, you want that your husband, you want call that man to man, let him come. Let him come. Oh, that the one, let him come. You think I'm stupid?
Hello?
Yeah, how you doing? I came here, I say I want that bread. I don't know that your wife or who, she okay. Then she can't tell me, say that muffin, I'm gonna give you muffin. Muffin, I know that people medicine. Then she want to give me that one they can kill people in the place here. You think I'm stupid?
You know the bread and muffin, you know the bread meat?
I don't know, I don't care to know. I know that bread. Why she telling me muffin? Maybe she want to hide it and give me something else to kill me.
The bread and muffin, if you don't know the name, the bread and muffin.
And I want to call you for to can't tell me.
Uncle, what happened?
Yeah, well, you can call police if you want to. Police a human being, must say a human being, and that's stupid.
Uncle, what
happened? But the people out say I want bread, then they asking me I want muffin. Then she continue to ask me I want muffin. Then she call her husband. Then the husband go, must say me a man.
Uncle, come on, that's bread over there. You don't want it?
I don't want muffin. Oh, I want bread. I don't want muffin.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
I'm not going nowhere. No. You want go, you go. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. I will stay right here. No. Don't hold my hand. Don't hold my hand. Leave me alone. That one I don't like. That one I don't like. Yeah. I will stay right here. You want call police? I'm waiting. Let the police come. Myself, I know where I come from. You hear? I come from Africa. Doesn't mean I'm stupid. Yeah. You hear? Okay, let them come. But you know what? Let me tell you. Say your police can come. Myself, I get my own people behind me. I don't come from the tree to come get. Say I come from Africa, my own people here too. I go and call them. Maybe my people will be here before your police. You think I'm stupid, yeah? Okay. I came in the shop here with my nieces inside here, but I can't find them. I came outside now. I can't find them. I don't know the place. What's your address? 7333 on my address. Street. I don't know the street. I know that my address is 7333.
Can't help you without the address. But I need the street address.
But you know some Liberians that live around here too?
Yeah, I know some Liberians that live this way. I can take you there.
Oh, okay. Thank God. What's she doing?
She working.
She crazy?
That's her work. That's what she does.
Is that paper she picking or that wetting?
You want to talk to her?
Yeah.
Hello, my fella.
My name Batu.
My name be Hawa.
Okay. But what are you doing?
I'll pick up cup. I go sell in market.
Why?
My children put me outside. There's somebody. The Liberia, they come, I come, they follow me outside. I don't know, but I'm not ready, I'm not ready. I can't work it. So I put them in cup, I take it, I get, I say, I eat.
Hey, America. When we in Africa, we just think that everything here, we even think that rain can fall down here. Look at somebody picking up paper can and picking up something in the street to go sell.
There's going to be a lot of stories.
Father God. I'm happy to see you here. Because the people can say you can know somebody in one time. Because the way from today, I see you tomorrow, I will not say I don't know you. You hear? Thank you. I will see you next time. I say I don't know my way. I just met a boy right there in the shop there. My children, they left me, they gone to the house. So I don't know my way. That myself I can't not take long time. He agreed to carry me to go to me in place. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, thank you.
I will see you later, okay?
I see you, Oma.
That was my children in the street, even in the shopping centers, and you obsessed my wife in the home.
No, listen, the people embarrass me.
Disrepute.
No, that's my right. That's my right.
No. Your right one day going to turn to your wrong.
No, because it will not happen.
Let me tell you,
I graduated from university.
University of Liberia. This is America. This is America.
I don't care.
University, you don't care what.
Yeah, that's the reason why I come
here.
Okay. People, that the thing that can happen in the country, and I see it. I see it.
You know what?
You know
one day.
One day.
What?
No,
talk to me. Talk to him. Did you bring him right from Africa?
Yes, I brought all my right from Africa.
No. That's not correct.
See, you think I'm stupid? I'm not stupid.
I know.
That what people can say when you can't in the place you can go.
That's my children in the street. I tell you what. I can't take it. I can't take it no more.
You can't take it, you will take it. You will be forced to take it.
Oh, Lord. I tell you what. Yeah, but honey,
please.
What did I do? What did I do? You told me to say for them. Yeah, but don't talk to me. Talk to him.
I will talk to him, but this is not the right time to
No,
talk to him.
that's the right time. That's the
Why
right
did I
time.
come here?
You see,
Now, here.